250 years ago, a bold idea was born on these shores: freedom, community, and the open road that stretches between them. This 4th of July, America turns 250, and we're celebrating the heart and soul of the nation the only way we know how, through music that feels like home. Today, we're taking you on a special musical journey across the red, white, and blue. You'll hear a timeless storyteller paint a picture of the kind of town we all grew up dreaming about. Then a rock and roll legend revs the engine for a wild ride down the highway that never ends. Next, a country superstar invites you to look inside and find the best version of yourself. Followed by the kings of country dirt road anthems who remind us just where we came from. And finally, a heartfelt voice from right down the street sings the simple truth about the places that raised us. 5 legendary artists, 5 unforgettable songs, all of them wrapped in stars and stripes. So grab a cold drink, pull up a chair, and let's celebrate 250 years of American roads, American towns, and the American spirit that still drives us forward. Ladies and gentlemen, this is America 250.
Long ago, but not so very long ago, the world was different. Oh yes, it was. You settled down and you built a town and made it live, and you watched it grow. It was your town. Time goes by, time brings changes, and you change too. Nothing comes that you can't handle, so on you go. You never see it coming when the world caves in on you, on your town. Nothing you can do. Main Street isn't Main Street anymore. Lights don't shine as brightly as they shone before. To tell the truth, lights don't shine at all. Our town. Sun comes up each morning just like it's always done. Get up, go to work, and start the day. Open up for business, it's never gonna come as the world rolls by 1,000,000 miles away. Main Street isn't Main Street anymore. No one seems to need us like they did before. It's hard to find a reason left to stay. but it's our town. We love it anyway. Come what may, it's our town.
You've turned into America's Backroads Radio, where today on America's birthday, it's time to hit the gas. There ain't no brakes. Here's Bon Jovi with Lost Highway.
Is getting clearer. The sunset sighs and slowly disappears. These trinkets once were treasure. Life changes like the weather. You grow up, grow old, or you hit the road around here. So I drive, watching white lines passing by, with my plastic dashboard Jesus waiting there to greet us. Hey, hey, I finally found my way. Say goodbye to yesterday. Hit the gas, there ain't no brakes on this lost highway. Yeah, I busted loose, I'm letting go out on this open road. It's Independence Day on this lost highway. Hey, 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 hey. Don't know where I'm going, but I know where I've been. I'm afraid of going back again. So I drive, years and miles are flying by, and waiting there to greet us. Here's my plastic dashboard Jesus. Hey, hey, I finally found my way. Say goodbye to yesterday. Hit the gas, there ain't no brakes on this lost highway. Yeah, I busted loose, I'm letting go out on this open road. It's Independence Day on this lost highway. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Oh, patron saint of lonely souls, tell this boy which way to go. Guide the car, you got the keys. Farewell to mediocrity. Kicking off the cruise control and turning up the radio. Got just enough religion and a half a tank of gas. Come on, let's go. I finally found my way. Say goodbye to yesterday. Hit the gas, there ain't no brakes on this lost highway. I busted loose, I'm letting go. When I'm when you find yourself in some far-off place, and it causes you to rethink some things. You start to sense that slowly you're becoming someone else. And then you find yourself, when you make new friends in a brand new town, and you start to think about settling down. The things that would have been lost on you are now clear as a bell. And you find yourself, yeah, that's when you find yourself. Well, you go through life so sure of where you're heading, and you wind up lost, and it's the best thing that could have happened. 'Cause sometimes when you lose your way, it's really just as well, because you find yourself, yeah, that's when you find yourself. When you meet the one that you've been waiting for, and she's everything that you want and more, you look at her and you finally start to live for someone else. And then you find yourself, yeah, that's when you find yourself. We go through life so sure of where we're heading, and then we wind up lost, and it's the best thing that could have happened. Sometimes when you lose your way, it's really just as well, because you find yourself, yeah, that's when you find yourself.
Will you lose your lunch if you have to watch one more boring CNN history documentary? Is your 1776 The Snooze Fest DVD scratched from overuse, while the left is busy canceling statues, slapping trigger warnings on the Constitution, and turning the whole revolution into a 6-hour seminar on problematic privilege and safe space tea parties? And it's time to turn that dial to something a little more dangerous. Time for some real action. It's time to blow crap up. That's right, Patriots, it's time for Freedom Zone, America's #1 uncensored, unfiltered, and completely explosive holiday spectacular, blasting straight at you live from your backyard battleground. And now, On every barbecue grill and smartphone in the nation, watch as the founding fathers take on King George and the Redcoats. They signed that declaration 3 times over, but how long can they survive in the zone? Catch it live, right here on YouTube. Picture it, folks. 1 week ago, right here in Philadelphia, the British are sitting pretty, taxing our tea, our stamps, our everything. But then, boom! Enter the underdog squad. Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, and a bunch of guys named after states they hadn't even made yet. First round, Lexington and Concord. The shot heard round the world. That's not a warning shot, baby. That's a full-on explosive payload. Redcoats go flying. Minutemen pop out of nowhere like hidden snipers. Ratings through the roof. Then the Tea Party. But this ain't your grandma's tea party. No, this is the Boston Tea Party. Crates of tea? More like crates of TNT. Kersplash! But with explosions. King George is watching from across the pond going, what in the name of crown just happened? And don't even get me started on the main event. July 4th, 1776. Jefferson steps up to the mic, quill in hand. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Crowd goes wild. Then he drops the pen and yells, time to blow crap up. And they sign that bad boy faster than a Minutemen disarming a British powder keg. Tyranny? Terminated. Liberty? Activated. Now here we are, 250 years later, baby. 250 trips around the sun of pure, unadulterated American explosions. We've been blowing stuff up responsibly ever since fireworks in 1777, the first official 4th of July bash. Back then, they had cannons and bonfires. Now we've got drone shows and enough consumer-grade rockets to make NASA jealous. But here's the nuance, folks, and this is where Freedom Zone gets deep. Every firework you light tonight, that's not just noise. That's a 250-year-old middle finger to tyranny. That's Lexington in the sky. That's the Declaration going kaboom in red, white, and blue. That's every immigrant, every soldier, every kid who ever stood up and said, nah, we're doing this our way. And yeah, we're still arguing about taxes and politics and whenever pineapple belongs on pizza. But hey, that's the beauty. In Freedom Zone, the fight never ends. It just gets louder, brighter, and bigger. So tonight, America 250, it's time to turn that dial to maximum danger. Fire up the grill, crack open a cold one, or a soda for the kiddies. And let's give the neighborhood the finale they've been waiting for. Because if the Founding Fathers could see us now, they'd look at these fireworks, wipe away a single patriotic tear, and say, kids, it's time to blow crap up. Happy 250th, you magnificent maniacs. Stay safe, stay loud, and remember, in America, the explosions are always for freedom. Now go make some history. And some really big explosions. Freedom Zone, out.
I was raised off of Route 3, out past where the blacktop ends. We'd walk to church on Sunday morning, race barefoot back to Johnson's fence. That's where I first saw Mary, on that roadside picking blackberries. That summer I turned a corner in my soul down that red dirt road. It's where I drank my first beer. It's where I found Jesus. Where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces. I learned the path to heaven is full of sinners and believers. Learned that happiness on earth ain't just for high achievers. I come to know there's life at dirt road. Her daddy didn't like me much. If I shackled up GTO, I'd sneak out in the middle of the night, throw rocks at her bedroom window. We'd turn out the headlights, drive by the moonlight, talk about what the future might hold down that red dirt road. It's where I drank my first beer. It's where I found Jesus. Where I wrecked my first car. I tore it all to pieces. I learned the path to heaven is full of sinners and believers. Learned that happiness on earth ain't just for high achievers. I learned, I come to know, there's life at both ends of that red dirt road. I went out into the world and I came back in. I lost Mary, oh, I got her back again. And driving home tonight feels like I found a long lost friend. It's where I drank my first beer. It's where I found Jesus. Where I wrecked my first car. I tore it all to pieces. I learned the path to heaven is full of sinners and believers. Learned that happiness on earth ain't just for high achievers. I learned, I come to know, there's life at both ends of that red dirt road. Yes, I've learned, I've come to know, there's life at both ends, that red dirt road.
Sweet southern smell of summer in Savannah. Tailgate drop, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That's my hometown. Yeah, that's my hometown. New York City, subway on the run. San Diego surfers soaking in the sun. That's my hometown. America's my hometown. We got blue-collar people, little pink houses, white church steeples, wishes in a fountain. If you know every name on your street and you know them, then you know me. That's my hometown. America's my hometown. Trash can fire, North Detroit, 7th inning stretch, Chicago, Illinois. That's my hometown. America's my hometown. Down in Nashville, out in Hot Springs, Seattle, San Antonio, doing that thing. We got blue-collar people, tonight reminds me of those Las Vegas lights. Big sky, Montana to New Orleans, and every one light city that sits in between. That's my hometown. America's my hometown. Yeah, that's my hometown. America's my hometown. We got blue-collar people, little pink houses, white church steeples, wishes in a fountain. If you know every name on your street, and you know them, then you know me. That's my hometown. America's my hometown. Yeah, that's my hometown. America's my hometown. Yeah.
Here in this very land, I have watched over freedom's flame. And now that you've understood the power of independence, I must ask that you protect it at all costs, for even the slightest misuse of its light can rip the very fabric of liberty itself. America, much like time itself, is a gift, and not to be tampered with. But like any father, my only wish is that my nation does that which makes it feel whole. You are a resilient and principled people, yet resilience and principle would have been wasted gifts without honor and loyalty. I am proud to see you come into those on your own. So, should the storms of tonight feel too heavy for your shoulders, I pray the stars light the way towards a future you yourself design. And as we gather beneath the fireworks on this, the 250th 4th of July, 250 years since those brave dreamers signed their names to the impossible idea that all men are created equal, just remember, the universe has a wonderful sense of humor. The trick is learning to take a joke.